Good evening, everyone. Is my camera working? Hey, yep, there it goes. Okay. Sorry, people. Camera was being a jerk. Hope everyone is doing all right this evening. We already got quite a few people in here, it looks like. GK, good to see you. Anthony, welcome. Hopefully, we'll have a few more people coming through here. Angela, good to see you. Hope you enjoyed the video on your candle trick. Um, hey, Jedi, yes, you made it. Mugs up. Been a while since you got here this early. Dragon of the West, good evening. So, um, hopefully you all have had a great week. I know some of you have had to deal with snowstorms and everything and crazy old weather, but that's just this time of year, ain't it? Um, yeah, we actually had a lot of great comments on that video, Angela. I was actually very, very pleased with the comments and everything, and people actually kicking in other ideals on things that could be tried with it. I really, really enjoyed that. Before I do forget, I should remind everybody in case we get busy here, if you have a really important question, we do have super chats, which you can make a small donation. YouTube will flash it up real big on the screen, make sure I see the question. Or if you just want to kick in something and help the channel out, that is always appreciated. Um, for those who haven't heard, maybe you're new here or something, we do have an online school, workingdragonmystic.com. You can take online courses. We just released a tarot class there. We did just release a new Guardian Dragon coffee mug. I do not have it myself personally. I'm just drinking out of the Dragon's Eye Seal one tonight. Coffee's good. It's cold, so hot coffee is really good for me. The Facebook is still giving us issues. I apologize about that. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I think we're just going to have to shut down the Facebook or something because it's just becoming more of a hassle than anything. It's eating up my time because I can never get it to work, and I spend so much time emailing them. I really don't get important things done. Uh, yeah, I think that pretty much covers the must talk abouts. Yeah, okay. So let's see where we're at here. First time I ever did it was accidentally started charging. It was a large jar candle. The large jar candles, I'm actually really liking it for personally. Luna, good to see you. Da, da, da. You totally need the pink one. The pink one we actually put in there for Halloween. We was definitely thinking of her when we did make sure there was a pink one available. She always tells me there's not enough pink merch of the Working Dragon Mystic variety, and it's like, well, okay, we'll make sure there's some pink merch. Which I will say, it was a viewer who actually asked about that. I was a little surprised we didn't have a Guardian Dragon one. So if y'all have an idea for a T-shirt, a coffee mug, or something, let me know. I'll see if I can make it happen. I'm not an artist, so if it's anything too extravagant, I may have to bug an artist to see if they can make it happen. But if y'all have an idea, let me know. We'll see if we can make it happen. We are wanting to do a few more of the pint glasses. I know a lot of people has enjoyed the Dragon's Eye Seal pint glass. So we are going to try and do a few more designs on that and see what we can get going there. But yeah, just let me know if there's you guys get an idea. I'll see what I can do. Let's see what we got here. Angela actually got a tarot deck today. Hey, awesome. I'm actually going to start doing some tarot deck review videos. I know a lot of people's been asking me what I think about certain tarot decks. And I'm going to be reviewing, obviously, the ones we see in the tarot class because I think those are really great decks. But we also have a few more we're wanting to review as well. So hopefully we'll be able to do a few more tarot review style videos because I'm getting a lot of questions about tarot decks. And to be honest, let's just be serious. Tarot decks are amazing. A lot of the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. There's a lot of tarot decks. I think the art is gorgeous. I don't necessarily like the way some of them read, but I love the artwork. So for me personally, I think it's a great thing to be able share the tarot decks, the art that I enjoy, so people can possibly try them out and find a tarot deck that they really like. Because for me, it's all about the art and the connection and the way it reads. There's a lot of things that go in for it. But like a lot of people, they just collect them and they really can get any tarot deck to read good for them. And I think that's amazing. So hoping to get more people exposed to more tarot decks and help them pick out a tarot deck and get practicing because, yeah, divinations is a wonderful practice. Let's see what we got here. Hey, we're drinking. I'm probably quiet today. I'm intently working on an art slicer. I did find you through Facebook, so that is a reason for keeping it up. I will check out the tarot class. Okay, sir. Thank you for letting me know you did find me through Facebook. You're right. Even if I can't get it to work, keeping a footprint there might be a good idea, Violet. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Especially a mermaid tail. I make some nice art happen. All right, especially. You know what, Luna? You and I might have to sit down and discuss something mermaid related. Okay, we might. I ain't gonna say one way or the other what, but we might sit down and figure something out. See, I think we all know a good artist. Luna's a great artist. She really is. I'm actually pretty blessed that amongst the admin and just the community in general, there's a lot of wonderful artists. It's just hard for me sometimes because I don't want to bug them. I don't want to, they might be doing their own projects and stuff, but you never know if you don't ask, right? Hey, Jade, good to see you. Glad you could make it this weekend. We're already getting. I collect them. Enjoy reading my top two used more often. Yeah, see, I know a lot of people who collect them. Of the Night and Tarot of the Vampires. Tarot of the Vampires, I think, might be actually the deck I use. I can never remember its name. I did track it down and put a link to it in the tarot class for those who are interested in it. So I will be reviewing it, but I think it is Tarot of the Vampires. There's just something about the artwork on that deck. I love it. And the way it reads is so direct, so specific, and just cuts to the quick. It doesn't hold back. I love it. Let's see. Oh no, he's serious now. Yeah, I'm serious now. Hey, Carlos. Hey, what's up to you, mate? From Indiana, huh? See, you guys got a bit of snow recently. If I'm thinking right. Glad you can make it. So, one of the things that many of you know that with the New Year's challenge, I've been working on getting back in shape and everything. And this week was an interesting week for me. And there's a few people I've talked to that had a very similar experience to me. And it's something that, especially when we are doing anything to do with New Year's and health, we got to remember this. So, something a lot of people don't realize is that when weather drops, your body will actually try to hang on to fat. So in my case, where I'm trying to lose weight and trying to get back in shape and get back down to my training weight and that stuff, our weather this week, even though I did everything right, I saw a slight tick up on the scale. Now, that makes sense. My body's storing because it's like, okay, it's freaking cold. We got to worry about this. That makes sense. I do also tape, around the waist and stuff, and I saw progress there. But I wanted to mention this, not necessarily talk about it the whole stream, but I did want to mention it because we are doing the New Year's challenge and everything. And actually, everybody, if you can, if you're comfortable with it, give us a heads up of what state or wherever you're from, because we got people all over the world here, and I do really like to see where everybody's from. It's amazing to see how spread out this community is. But I know a lot of people who, if they had a week like I just had where the weather drops and dips, and you're not aware of the fact that how you may react to the weather shifts, if your weight kind of done that little swing, they're going to freak out. They're going to think they screwed up. They're going to really blame themselves. Be aware of how the environmental changes can affect that, because your body will actually even store water as it burns fat. It'll put water into the fat cells before it collapses them in order to make sure you have that storage capacity to get through the winter. So that is one thing I have to personally remind myself of, because even though I know this logically, I have to actually remind myself when I'm tracking my data, because that can get in the way a lot of times and throw off your motivation. And motivation, if you ask me, is sometimes the hardest part of anything we do. We got to have that discipline to carry through. And that motivation to continue on, that can be hard. Let's see what we got here. Hi, Oni-chan, good to see you. Upbeat, lovely songs. Okay, we got Minnesota. Awesome. Connecticut, Portland, Oregon. I missed a few days, but I've been doing better getting into my astral sanctum. Hey, Angela, that's great. And remember what I said. It's okay to take a day or something, because sometimes you need that rest to make progress. You really do. If you overexert yourself, you end up not making the progress you would if you just take a day or two rest. South Carolina. I got to get back down to South Carolina. Let's see, we got LA. Amazing. All right. Greetings from the frosty wonderland of Finland. Hey, you guys got tons of snow up there, for sure. For absolutely sure. See. For my members, I do want to give a shout out and let y'all know. I know a lot of people are wondering, when's the members only live streams? We have been working on figuring out the times. It does look like we will probably be doing members only live streams sometime between Monday and Friday, and they will roughly be anywhere from 6 to 7 o'clock in the evening. Seems to be what everybody's voted on. So now that we've got all that information, I'm just going to set it up, pick the day that's going to work best based on your all's data with my schedule. And I will do an announcement that will go through the community tab for all the YouTube channel members. And for those who are signed up through Patreon, I'll also be doing a notification there. So check those out. And if you're in the Discord, I'll notify the members in the Discord as well for when that time comes up. So I'm going to try and put it on the calendar tomorrow and give us at least a week lead in, so you kind of have that notice. Because unlike the Sunday streams where we just know it's Sunday, right? I want to make sure you have time to work your schedule into it if you can, if that makes sense. So yeah, wanted to go get ahead and give you all a heads up on that. And as always, thank you for your support. You guys really make this channel happen. We just Halloween, good to see you. We were just talking about you, Shad, and how the pink mug was made for you. Howdy, y'all. I'm packing for oh Lordy, that's right. She will be here next week, hopefully, to join us again for the live streams and bring her own personal brand of chaos to us, which we all love. I miss my daughter. We got to have her up here. She got to visit, come bug us a little bit. Jennifer is from New York. Amazing. It is so great to see a community so spread out. You lecture? Are we? Yeah, we got 17 people in here and only 11 thumbs up. Angela, you're in Colorado. Oh my God, I love Colorado. I did a winter survival course out there in the winter up in the mountains. Oh, that was cold. That was cold, but I do love Colorado. It is an absolutely beautiful state. Someone's hat will be. Hey, now, Luna, let's not be covering hats in glitter now. That's just not nice. You can't get that stuff out. I actually have an old hat, like the leather one you all see me wear. I actually have an older one of that. And Yeah, it still has glitter on it from an incident that happened years ago. Are you going to make her palm charge a candle to settle down first? I'm not sure you could. I don't know if it'd work. I seriously don't know that Halloween's battery ever runs down. I'll be honest with you. I love the girl to death, but she is very, very hyper. She just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. The only time I've seen her stop is when she falls asleep. And I'm pretty sure she runs at full speed until then and just kind of falls over. Um, and no, we don't allow glitter in the house. Just put a hamster wheel in. I know, right? Oh, wow. But it will be a lot of fun to have her here next week for sure. Let's see what we got. For those who are curious, actually, before I get to the end and forget about it, this week's video coming up, actually, many of you have been asking about it. And I finally went ahead and shot a video talking about tips and tricks working on how to develop Arcane Touch, the ability to touch things and actually interact with things more. The reason I hadn't done it before is in most magical practices, Arcane Touch really doesn't come up that much and it just kind of develops naturally because sight and hearing are the big ones, right? But this is something that surprisingly to me, so many people have a very valid interest in. And it is valid because I'll admit it's pretty cool. So I did actually go ahead and get a video recorded on some tips and tricks on how to help you all develop that. So that video will be releasing Tuesday for all those who are working on their arcane senses. Okay? So I am listening to y'all. I do listen. I'm a one-man film crew up in here, but I do try to record what you all ask me for. Yes, 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 Halloween. You will definitely have to show off the Valentine's outfit you put together for the stream. Definitely. Wait, is the stream won't be on Valentine's Day, will it? I hope not. My kids are gaining weight. Gaining weight says because of the weather shift. One of my sons is a Capricorn, and the other son's a Gemini. Trying to help my sons lose weight. I keep gaining weight. Really fun for my kids. They've been picked up at school a lot. I'm trying to make sense of that. Is it the winter shift, maybe? Anyway, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a health expert. I can say that there's some things Magick can do to help. Two YouTubers that I would point you to for some data points that are very, very helpful would be Dr. Jason Fung and Dr. Barry. Both of them deal with kind of low carb, healthy eating, more based around what the actual biology of our bodies are able to handle. And I love them because what I love about them is most people will spout off a bunch of stuff about diets and they'll just say, take my word for it. Where they're actually going to give you the data. They're going to show you the actual research papers and everything that they're pulling their information from. And I'm a big data junkie, as many of you know, because a lot of people say a lot of crap, but show me the empirical data. That's what I want to see. Dr. Barry's channel and Dr. Jason Fung, both of those individuals, when it comes to just overall health, I love them to death. And when it comes to weight loss, they are amazing. I've seen them help so many people. So I would actually guide you there because I am not a doctor. I am not a dietitian of any kind. I am doing things, and many of you know I've tested a few things on me that I would test on me, but I wouldn't test on another person because that's my choice. And what I am following currently is largely a carnivore diet, though I drift into that kind of what they call the ketovore, where it's like carnivore with a little added keto padding occasionally. And that has been amazing for me because I do get to eat and I get to eat foods I like. And I'm able to work on building my muscle back up while I'm losing weight. It's been amazing. I'm sure at some point it's going to slow down either the muscle gain or the fat loss, one of the two there. Um, at this point in time, I have enough reserves that it's not been an issue, but it's working for me. So, but I always have to be careful with that. I do use Magick to also supplement, but as y'all know, when it comes to health, I rely on modern medicine and Magick. I don't think they're separated. I don't think they should be separated. I think we should use all the tools in the toolbox. So yeah, but good luck to you and the kids. That winter shifts, man, Jennifer. Winter shifts. They're rough on the weight because just naturally because it's cold. Your body wants to put on weight. Like I was saying earlier, your body just wants to do it. That's a survival mechanism. But what I try to remind myself is to build these habits, do the best I can during the winter. Then as we move into spring and things start warming up, hopefully Drake will start dropping some fats. Which many of you commented, you can already see my face getting thinner, which I appreciate the compliments. Thank you very much. I'm glad people are seeing the results because sometimes it's hard for me to see them. But yeah, winter can be a lot. It can be a rough one, man. Let's see here. Perwin, good to see you. Been a while, mate. Welcome back. Oh yeah. SJ Fusion, how do you evoke Paimon successfully? Well, that's not necessarily an easy question because you're going to have to know how to evoke. Evocation is considered an advanced magic. And if you can evoke one spirit, you can invoke any spirit. Because evocation is a process, and the process can be applied to any entity. And Paimon's actually a relatively easy entity to evoke. So if you check below most of my videos, you will see a book called Demons of Magic by Gordon Reinstein or David. I think it's Gordon. I think Gordon wrote that one. And he has a pretty good system of evocation that's very easy for a beginner to get into. And it does focus on the Goetic spirits. In fact, if I was to recommend a book on the Goetia, I would actually recommend that one. I think I've done a video on Paimon already. Yeah, I did. But that would be the system I would recommend for just generally getting into it because evocation and the process and describing the steps by step and all the different skill sets that you need to build up to it, that's pretty big. Now, if I was to assume you had all those skill sets, then I would say that for best results, I would recommend having a sigil for Paimon. I would write an incantation or a calling to Paimon. And I would write it in the format in which best suits you, whether it be long and poetic or short and simple. For me, short and simple works better. Some people love the long and poetic. You got to work with the one that works best for you. And then I would drop into a trance state and I would begin doing the incantation in the space that you have set up while activating the sigil. And I like to throw in some incense for atmosphere. It tends to help a lot. If you're new to it, I would definitely use a circle, not for protection, but in order to gather the energy to help fuel the actual invocation and to give the spirit something to latch onto as it moves closer to our realm. Of course, once the spirit arrives, assuming you have already trained the skills of arcane sight and arcane hearing, you will be able to see the spirit right there, and then you will be able to have a real-time conversation with it. What that conversation consists of entirely consists on what you're working with the spirit for, and then from there, you would either ask the spirit to go out and to manifest what it is you're seeking, or to help you and guide you into manifesting that. Or if you're just doing kind of a Q&A where you're learning from it, like the spirit, using the spirit more as a teacher, then you would politely say farewell, as you would politely say farewell to any guest in your home. That would be a very basic rundown, which we are currently in the process of actually doing a very, very detailed and in-depth class focused on evocation, because I have quickly learned in doing this channel, y'all really love that evocation topic, and I don't blame you. Evocation is an amazing area of magic. It really is. So we are currently working on setting up, formatting the evocation class, and I'm hoping we will actually start filming soon. We do not have a release date. Don't ask. I don't have one. Don't got it. Won't give one. Not even doing a guess. Okay. We all saw how my guess ended on that tarot class. As Luna said, the tarot curse. So I won't be giving that, but I am hoping to start filming very soon. Because that is definitely where the big interest is. So yeah, because evocation is just too big of a topic to truly do justice on YouTube. I would need a massive freaking playlist to even attempt it, and even if I was to do a massive playlist, YouTube's guidelines wouldn't allow me to go over the things that need to go over to truly cover the material well. So yeah, but don't worry, we will make it like all classes affordable. That is my big thing when it comes to the school. If it ain't affordable, we ain't doing it, because seriously, I believe in my work. So I don't need to overprice something to cover the website, because I believe in the work I do. Let's see. Get something here. And if I miss your questions, I do apologize. Again, we do have the super chats. Let's see. Drew, hey, good to see you. Mugs up. And I'm out of coffee, people. We need more coffee here. We can't have a coffee hour without coffee. You know what I mean? That's just silliness. All right. Where was I? Let's see. Jedi Master. Oh, Drake, my guardian dragon has been very playful lately, and some trickster and movements here and there as I've been trying to build that relationship up. Yeah, dragons are very playful. Even the older ones, though they try to put on this face, give it time. They have a sense of humor, and the grump, just the serious face. If I've learned anything about dragons, that serious face is to throw you off guard for when they play the practical jokes on you. So yeah, dragons are very playful. I am not surprised at that one at all. Angela, I did put something up earlier I'd like your opinion on, Drake. It happened when I first got my Tarot of the Vampire. Yeah, shoot, let me know, and I'll you can message me here, or you can message me over at the Discord. I'd be, or you can email me. I'll do my best to help you out there. I had an amazing energetic experience with my tarot. Vampires, when it first tried, the energy was just pouring between me and it, and I read 3 solid hours, just played with them and listening. That is actually pretty cool, Angela. There's a lot of tarot decks that the energetic connection between the deck and the reader just kind of hits that vibe. It's just, there's just something about the deck and the reader, the artwork speaking. It creates that natural flow. I have spoken with tarot readers over the years, and I've tried to figure out just what it is. So far, I've narrowed it down to, it's just something about the artwork and the way the art speaks to us that really allows that for that energetic flow. Because you can't deny their art itself generates an energetic connection with the person viewing it. And I think that's why I love my particular vampire deck as well. It does that same thing. It just speaks to me so well. And when you find a deck like that, hang on to it. Hang on to it. Definitely hang on to it. Drew, any tips on getting your spirit guide to speak to you again? I think I may have made her mad. Well, Generally speaking, Drew, in my opinion, the best thing you can do in order to get a spirit guide to speak to you again, if you've pissed them off that badly, it happens, is to generally actually apologize. Let them know you are unaware of exactly what you did. You would like to know so that you could make it right, and that you can learn and grow. That's the big one. Make sure you want them. Make sure you let them know you are seeking to grow and improve. This is a big thing for any of our guides. And just out of the kindness of just give them a little something, whether it's a drink, a piece of incense for them, just as a way of saying thank you. Even before they answer the question, thank them ahead of time. Let them know you appreciate them. This is generally the best way to handle it. Um, Anytime an entity is mad at us, it's because we did something stupid. And let's be honest, we humans do a lot of stupid stuff. We are beyond the infants of the multiverse. So when we approach them truly, um, with forgiveness in our heart, or apology, with a true apology, and we do genuinely let them know that we seek to understand what we did wrong so that we can grow, better ourselves, and hopefully not make the same mistake again. They are quick to respond to that mentality, very much so. Hope that helps you a little bit, Drew. Let's see. On the chain question, I recently did an attraction spell. Is there any way to speed up the results? And are there any entities that could help? Well, Citri, I did a video on Citri. A few of the goetic spirits could definitely help. Aphrodite could help. But as far as to speed it up, you could. I don't know the spell you did. And depending on how you set the initial spell up would depend on what you do to speed it up. I would also say be careful about trying to speed it up too much, because if you go back and check out my video about letting energy go, the more you worry about it, the more you think about it, the more you cling to it, you're not letting the energy go. And if you don't let it go, that energy ain't going to do squat. I mean, let's be honest. This coffee I can use. It's in my cup. I can drink it. If I leave the coffee here, ain't going to do nothing. I got to let it go. Got to put it in the cup. Spell work works the same way. If we are unwilling to let go of the energy and release it, to actually let it go out and do its thing, it'll never go out there and do anything because it's just there. So if you set up a spell similar to how I did the long-term prosperity spell, then you could easily do that spell once a week to continually add more energy to it until something manifests. You could do a secondary spell to potentially aid the first spell. If you just did a simple spell and release, those would be options. But you have to make sure you are releasing the energy. If you don't release the energy, it won't do nothing. And if you constantly are doubting and thinking you need to reinforce it, that's telling your subconscious that your magic's not going to work to begin with, and that'll ground it down. So you got to be careful. Magic's tricky like that. Glad I was able to help, Drew. You also got to be aware that when we do an attraction spell, especially a list style spell, Magic's going to use the path of least resistance. So it's going to go through that list. It's going to work its way around. It's going to try and find somebody, and it's going to try and move those people around. It's going to move those pieces on the board to get them in position to where you can meet them. Depending on how far apart those things are and how much it has to move toward you, those all factors are going to come into play. Kind of like moving one piece on the chessboard all the way to the other side of the board. In fact, you yourself may even find that job changes or whatnot move you. So it may not only just move them toward you, it may move you toward them depending on how the list is set up. And if you resist the change that the spell is working toward your life in order to bring you to that result, you yourself are interfering and blocking the result, in which case it's not just going to stop it, but it will try to work around your resistance as well. And that could increase the time frame as well. All those little factors can be put in there and considered. It's not as clean cut as a straight arrow shot. I wish it was, man. That'd make life so much easier. See, as at Bones Crunch, how many wards do you recommend one person to have up at one time? As my wards never seem to be enough, as I'm practically a magnet for negative energy, though I'm working on that aspect. Thank you. Really, that depends on the person to person. First off, in general, what the big thing you got to understand is energy is energy is energy. Okay. This modern concept of good and evil, light and dark, positive and negative, and the positive's the good stuff and the negative's out to get us. That's not true. There's many a times when negative energy is very, very healing. Now, that said, the multiverse is constantly going to be testing us. Now, how you set your wards up, what you set them up in different ways is going to definitely affect it. If you're using just a simple kind of bubble barrier style shield around your home, those wear out quick. They really wear out quickly. You'd almost have to be redoing those daily for them to be truly effective, even if you're doing layers on them. But most practitioners, on a general basis, I would say, I don't recommend single wards. I just don't see the point in them. They're too easy to bypass. They can't absorb enough energy. I prefer layers, and I prefer each layer to do something a little different, so that instead of just punching through, it's more of having to navigate some kind of like a maze. There's a bit more logic to the chaos, if you will. And I would generally recommend starting with 4 good layers that do something different. And in fact, I would even make sure that at least one of those layers protects against, I do mind to protect against energy or energy that does not serve my goals, because I can easily bypass most wards that people set up because they set it for negative energy. I can easily use positive energy to get in there and strike at them, because the ward's not set up to do anything about positive energy. And just because it causes harm, people's like, well, that was negative. Nope. You can cause a lot more harm with positive energy than negative energy quite easily. So I generally would recommend set the wards up for energy and you controlling the energy in which is coming in. And I would also layer them. And I generally try not to advise exactly how to layer them, because I believe that one's creativity should go into it. And I also don't recommend telling people how you've layered it, exactly what those layers do. You could do a layer for positive. You could do a layer for negative. You could do a layer that's sorts out anything that doesn't necessarily directly affect your goals, so that only energy that's affecting your goals is coming in. Those are 3 layers that would be very easy to apply to a set of wards. And then that leaves you with a 4th layer to play with again. But how you construct them and everything is going to matter. You need to make sure you're maintaining these as well. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. See, Oni-chan, thank you for the advice. I believe the results are coming in a year or 2 based on my list and situation I've been seeing in my live scrying sessions. Hey, there you go, Oni-chan. A year or 2 is not bad at all. It really isn't. In fact, that's really kind of good if you think about it. Because you're trying to attract an individual into your life, right? Okay, well, people fail to understand how much having a partner in their life can truly change their lives. See, originally we're like, I'm lonely, I could use somebody to cuddle with. That sounds great. But how does that affect your day-to-day routine? Ladies, gentlemen, let me tell you, it affects it a lot. Now you got somebody you got to message. You got somebody you got to worry about. You got somebody who's worrying about you. You guys got to touch base. You guys got to communicate. You guys got to spend time together. And that means that's going to cut into things you already do. And a lot of people say, well, I have all this free time. You may end up missing that free time. So having a year or two potential to actually mentally ready yourself for genuinely being in a relationship is vitally important. People jump into relationships just to be in a relationship. Don't ever do that, please. Relationships are work. They are work. No matter how much you love the person, they are work. And the two of you have to grow together. You have to work together. You have to grow together. And that is a give and take. You will have to change things. Not necessarily change you. You shouldn't have to change you for something, but perhaps your habits, perhaps, how you spend your time during the week. Because I can tell you, there was a time and a place where I could spend weeks on end in the woods doing Drake stuff, and it was great. But when I'm in a relationship, disappearing in the woods for weeks on end, not so much of a good thing. So you will have to adjust how you do things. And so I would use that time to do that because too many people just jump into a relationship just to jump into a relationship, and they don't think about how it's going to change their time. Because first off, I don't think there's anything wrong with playing video games. I enjoy video games. I haven't played them in a long time because I just ain't got the time. But you also have to understand, you may be dating somebody who necessarily doesn't like video games as much or may not play them as much as you, and you have to log off to make time for that special someone. You may need to cook for that special someone. You may have to clean or straighten your house more, or you may even have to adjust to a slightly messier house, depending on which side of the cleaning spectrum you are on. All these little things come into relationships. So yeah, believe me, that first one's going to be it'll be a hoot on a chan. But do remember that a relationship is about two people coming together as a compromise and growing together. Okay. It's wonderful when you find the right person and you can actually genuinely grow together. But do be aware that you yourself have to prepare for that thing. Okay. And sometimes, no matter what we do, it's just going to go pear-shaped. But, hopefully that helps you out just a little bit. And I do wish you the best in whoever you end up meeting. And yes, loving yourself is very, very important. I genuinely don't recommend anyone getting into a relationship until they learn to love themselves by themselves. That's just my 2 cents. Because adding someone to the equation will not fix you. If anything, that's only going to make the mess worse. Because now you got your problems, their problems, and any other problems that the two of you create together. That's just, ooh. That's just pouring gasoline on the fire. You know what I mean? See, the tarot cards know. Tarot cards know there, Angela. The clever card jumped right out there in that. I take relationships seriously, mainly because I grew up in a family where they didn't work out. Let's just be honest. They did not work out. I did not see a healthy relationship until probably mine. Well, no. My mom and my stepdad. Honestly, gotta admit, I am happy as hell my mom found him. Great guy. So that was probably my first actual exposure to a healthy relationship. And I'll be honest, I was so wary over that whole thing because I had like years and years and years of just crappy relationship examples that, yeah, I actually told myself I'd never get married. That was my plan. That was my game plan right there. as many of you know, that ain't the way that went. But I met a wonderful individual, and thanks to good advice, um, and that is the advice that I still share to this day to other people. I've really had a wonderful marriage. So, see, CJ, whoop whoop, don't have to work tonight. Hey, welcome, CJ. Yay for not following not good patterns. Yeah, Angela, and it's weird. A lot of people's like, man, that must have sucked for you. I'm actually kind of grateful for where I grew up because I was able to observe things wrong, and I was able to learn, don't do that. That's stupid. Don't do that. That's stupid. Um, so yeah, it's weird because I don't think I would have turned out quite as well as I did if I had a better start, if that's what you would call it, because I don't really think of it as a bad start. I got to see a lot of wrongs early in life that allowed me to understand the rights. Um, I'm not saying that that's the way everyone should do it, because some people, as you said, some people see these patterns and they just think that's the way that is. For some weird reason, my brain being wired the way it is, that's not the way it worked for me. So I'm grateful for what I had. So, and that's why I tell people, pay attention, observe, learn. Um, if you see something happening, ask yourself what can be done different and learn from that. And don't just pay attention to what you're doing, pay attention to what other people are doing as well. There's a lot of wisdom in those patterns or figuring out how to break those patterns that can be had. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. The best we can do is learn as best we can, apply that to our lives, and get as far as we can. And if we fall down, if we trip, if we make a mistake, we learn from that and we continue forward. Um, so, yeah. Dragon of the West, it highly depends on the particular tradition or religious or spiritual viewpoint in which you are looking at. Um, in some instances, there's no difference. In some instances, the differences are drastic. So, um, the soul and spirit generally, a lot of people view soul and spirit as the same. Um, and some people view them as separately. And the reasons for this would be that spirit, in and of itself, is more like a energetic replica of us as we are. It is more of the identity of the ego. Whereas the soul is indeed a fraction of the entirety of the soul that is in this meat suit. The soul itself, as a whole, is far too large to be put into a meat suit. So it's only a small fragment that we actually have. And that fragment is what goes to the afterlife. At the point where our soul truly hits ascent, all those fragments rejoin, and the dominant ascending identity is the one that they all take on. But all that knowledge, all that information, all that experience comes back together into the singular. So some would argue that we don't technically have a full soul because we're only a fragment, but we still technically have a soul. If you ask my 2 cents, I mean, we still have a soul fragment functioning thingy, and it is still linked to the entirety. So we still do have a soul if we're not splitting hairs here. Spirit, the energetic spirit concept, this is also what generally creates ghosts. This is an energetic construct that our spirit can maintain its identity even without the soul and can create residual hauntings and emotional hauntings and ghosts that linger while the soul does move on. Um, some people just view it as the ego. I'm not particularly sure on that one myself. I do think ego plays a part in hauntings because I do think the ego powers it and lets it hold its identity better. But the ego will follow the soul, because a stronger ego does make it easier for the energetic body, whether you view it as spirit or just the energetic body, to create that tangible, lasting spirit identity. Um, and one of the problems we have here is we do have many different spiritual paths, many different religious paths, many different occult paths where the terminologies, the ideals, and the beliefs are separated and broke up into different understandings. And that does get confusing. Um, and as far as I can tell at this point, none of them are necessarily wrong and none of them are necessarily right. What I have found in my research that seems to hold true in all of them is, again, the soul's too big to fit. And those fragments are essentially what we would view as reincarnation. Every time we incarnate, it's a new fragment. Um, and this also explains why you could essentially evoke a past version of you. Because if you were to evoke a past version of you and there was only one source of it, you're essentially going to yank yourself out of your body and your body's going to drop on the floor and you're going to be looking at your body like, well, that didn't work. As funny as that scenario would be, that's not what happens. But we do know that, the energetic body and the soul do have a separate existence. And that is also why the soul can move on, but you can still have a ghost as well. I know that's convoluted and confusing, and I hope I simplified that down as best as I could, because there are so many different variants on how that could work. Let's see. Milton, I will ask that we not bash a particular religion, even though that particular religion, I kind of have to agree with you, but I'm going to have to ask that we not bash religions here. Let's see, we're going, how does reincarnation work? It fits with the many afterlives. Let's see. Do I got okay. We'll try and answer this in the time I got left here, Dragon on the West. It gets to be a tricky one. So reincarnation is essentially the process of the soul's attempt to learn, perfect, and achieve ascent. So the soul, let's just boil it down a little bit here. And let's assume the soul has 100 portions. So each life would have a singular portion and be 1/100th of the whole. And the entirety cycle of that soul would be 100 different lives. So it's not that you're constantly reincarnating back and forth as the same you over and over. Instead, it's 1/100th of that soul completing the entirety of its cycle in hopes to learn. Um, Now, beyond that, we do enter into a bit of the theoretical a little bit, where some people believe that if you complete all 100 cycles and you've not hit ascent, some people think that's it. Erase. That's not been my experience, though. In my experience, you have another group of people who believe that if your soul completes the 100 cycles and you haven't achieved ascent, all those pieces are essentially reshuffled and start through again, but that also kind of undoes a good chunk of the memory. Not the entirety of it, but a good chunk. And you start back through, hopefully achieving ascent. Which, is that true? I don't personally know, because it doesn't fit with a lot of stuff I know. But then I don't also think, from my experience personally, this is my experience here at Dragon of the West, I don't think the souls broke up individually in such perfect 1/100ths. And I actually think that the soul has the ability to continue replicating to the point, even regrowing a fragment and expanding itself in order to keep this process going until it hits ascent. That's my personal theory at this time because I have not personally encountered anything that makes me that I've seen where a soul completed that cycle and then just okay, we're done. Haven't seen it. I have heard of something called soul death, which is a much larger topic, and we don't have time for. But that's not something that's based on a cycle. That's something that's based on you got to screw up big time. I mean, big time screw up. Um, and even that's a topic that I can't say is fully understood. I mean, I'm still researching, I'm still learning. And as I mentioned in the vlog last week, which I apologize for not doing a vlog this week, I'm constantly researching, and as new data comes in, I'm forced to reevaluate my own standings. That's why I can only give you my current understanding of it. That's one way to project. Yeah, that'd be one way to do it. What? It just yank. Let's see, Angela. Do you consider your path eclectic or falling to into anything? Drink. Just wondering. Mine is. Um. I mean, I guess by the definition of eclectic, a lot of people would view me as eclectic. Um. I just kind of view it as me. I'm Drake. I do me. You know, I do my research. I follow my data. I adjust based on the data. I refuse to take things on blind faith. Um, and it does make for a harder path because there are times where you have to approach the data without any presumptions and everything. But I mean, by the definition, I study a lot. I love to research. I love to constantly learn, and I love to understand multiple paths and different views. So by that, I would be considered eclectic, though I don't view myself necessarily eclectic because I just view me as me and my path. How someone else may choose to define that, that'd be particularly up to them. So, Angela, I kind of agree with you. It's just my own thing. It's what I'm doing. I will say that since my approach is more results based and data based, and focuses kind of on the nuts and bolts, it's allowed me to be a better teacher to many. I'm not the right teacher for everyone. I'm definitely not everyone's cup of tea. There's plenty of people who just think I'm an asshole, and I'm okay with that. They're welcome to that opinion. So yeah, that's about the best way I could define it, Angela. Again, hope that's not too confusing. Jamin, have I heard of that particular concept that we all belong to a particular part of a god or goddess and you advise something? I have heard that, and I've honestly also not found any truth to it personally, Jamin. I apologize. So as to how to find out, I'm not the right guy to ask for that one. I don't. That's more on a spiritual or religion side, not something I really do. I don't even worship gods and goddesses. I will work with them and I will view them as my equals. I will view them as friends and allies, nothing more. So I might not be the right guy for that. I have heard of it though. I have heard of it. I know a few people who subscribe to that, and we debate often. We discuss friendly, usually over coffee or a beer, but they've never been able to present me with anything to persuade me, and I don't really try to persuade them because when it comes to a person's beliefs, I'm not going to persuade you. I don't really care. It's your belief. You do you. If it's working for you, awesome. That's all I want. Whatever you're doing, if it's working for you and you're happy and you're growing, I am a happy Drake. Makes for a simple life too. All right, I have got to get off here before Jade and Luna start throwing clocks at me because it's already that time. This has been a great one. We had a lot of questions. I did not get to every question. I do apologize about that. Hopefully, we can get into some of those next. Oh, see, there Jade goes with the clocks again. We need a coffee cup with clocks or something, don't we? Be sure to check out the video this week on the Arcane Touch. I am going to try and get the vlog up. That is a priority this week. We are going to try and do the vlog. It is kind of looking like we might be closer to a bi-weekly vlog than a weekly, but that's okay because I'd rather do something with a little bit of quality than just jumping on here and being like, hey guys, it's Drake. I'm here. It's vlog day. Huh? Even though I do often shoot the vlogs looking a hot mess, I still like it to be somewhat of, I actually like to have something to say that's worthwhile. You know what I mean? I know many of you like to hear me rant about different things. So, but I do try to hopefully have a point to what I'm talking about most of the time. Most of the time. I try. Sometimes I don't, but I try. All right, everyone, you have a fantastic week. If you're in any of these areas where winter storms or weather is getting wonky, stay safe out there. Remember, I don't care what you drive, ice don't have traction. So be safe out there as best you can. Hopefully, we'll all get through the winter just fine and dandy. Spring's around the corner. Things are going to start warming up. Perhaps we can get back outside, doing some more things. I know I'm looking to getting back outside a bit more. And until next week, everyone, you have a fantastic week. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.